calling all NFL play callers, paging play callers on line one. Does anybody want the Eagles offensive coordinator job? Anybody that tells you that it's not a desirable job, they're crazy. We're going to talk about it. Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, you name it, trending in the AM, taking your thoughts and opinions. We are live. 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We're live, but if you're watching this live or on YouTube, please do me the favor before you get started here, hit the like button wherever it is on your screen, hit the share button, and put this on one of your social media platforms. And, of course, subscribe to the STT Sports Network. Sit at 983 subscribers, so please hit those buttons. It's free to do. It does not cost you a thing to support your local content creator. And if you're watching this live, vote on our live YouTube poll question. Really simple question today, which is going to drive the conversation. Is the Eagles offensive coordinator job desirable? Yes or no? Because there's a lot of theories thrown around right now. That is not. So vote on the poll question, like, subscribe, share, and let's get into this topic of, is the Eagles offensive coordinator job desirable or not? Because when the reports are that Brian Daboll does not want to come here, he wants to go to Tennessee to be their OC or the head coach of Buffalo, and that's pretty much it. When we lose out on Mike McDaniels, to the Chargers offense coordinator position and Justin Herbert, today we're losing out on Zach Robinson, who is going to Tampa Bay. Nobody wanted Zach Robinson, but I'm sure they're going to say he chose them over us. I think it's crazy to say that this job is not desirable. When you have the talent on this team, when you have the track record of this team, and a lot more details that we're going to get into. I want to go through it all in 2 seconds. When you are this team, how would you not want to coach on this team? How would you not want to be part of a winning organization with a great owner, a great GM? It's crazy. Anybody that tells you that this job is not desirable. So let's go right into it. Let's get right to the comments. Duck wants the OC job. Duck, I don't know. He might be smart enough. What's up, little G? How you doing? Good morning, Duck. I think they saw what happened to Patullo's family, are considering the family's safety with a fan base that has been portrayed as a rabid and dangerous. If that's the case, then I don't want him here anyway. It's nonsense. Look, what happened to Kevin Patullo's family was obviously wrong. But egging of a house is not what's stopping people from coming here. Our reputation is bad, and I've been trying to preach to make our reputation better for a long, long time. I haven't really gotten there, but I'm trying. So much worse happens in other cities, but we are perceived to be the devil reincarnated in Philly. That better not be what's keeping people away. Good experienced OCs want more autonomy than what I'm sure the Eagles are offering. I'm guessing they called Moore and Steichen to get their opinions before saying yes or no to the gig. Look, this whole autonomy thing is massively overblown. A coach absolutely needing total autonomy over the offense, where the head coach has no say, is a little bogus in my opinion. Nick Sirianni had influence on Kellen Moore and Shane Steichen. He had it this year with Patullo and a couple of years ago with Brian Johnson. He's always going to be involved. We said here every week during the 24 season, Nick Sirianni's got to back off. Kellen Moore had full autonomy over the play calling and the game day situations. Okay? Anybody that wants to have a dictatorship type style, it's my way and that's it. It just doesn't work. What job out there can you have no reporting or no involvement with your boss? Your boss has no say over what you do. I think this complete autonomy topic is crazy. Andy Reid, not first choice in 99. Sirianni, not first choice in 21. Dougie P, not first choice in 16. Do people get the picture yet? Different strokes for different folks. That's all. Look, it is what it is. Everyone complained, including me, that the Eagles rushed to make a decision last year on hiring Kevin Patullo. They're being patient. They're doing their due diligence. If there was somebody that they absolutely could not live without, they wouldn't have let them leave the meeting without a contract in hand, right? There are weaknesses to every one of these coordinators that have moved on and said no to the Eagles, supposedly. We don't know if the Eagles even wanted these guys. Morning, Lil J. Brian Daboll gone. McDaniels time to bring in Matt Nagy. Get it done, Howie. Look, Matt Nagy was the latest name brought in for an interview yesterday. I actually like the idea, unlike most, about Matt Nagy. Actually, I prefer Matt Nagy over Daboll and McDaniels at this point. First and foremost, he ain't going to be a short-term candidate. He'll be here for a while. Although he does seem to have some interest in head coaching again. And quite frankly, Matt Nagy, I can't believe he's only 47 years old. I thought he was like 67 years old at this point. But the dude was solid as an offensive coordinator. And as head coach, I know he struggled at the end in Chicago. But he took a rookie, Mitchell Trubisky, and got 12 freaking wins out of Mitchell Trubisky and a playoff, appearance. If you can get Mitchell Trubisky to the playoffs, you're okay in my book. Okay, so I like I originally mentioned Matt Nagy in the very beginning part of this process. I've been saying Matt Nagy's name since day one as a name of interest. It's not common for any single team to be the top opportunity. This is not a talking point. It's not common for any single team to be the top opportunity. I don't understand what you mean there. Like, no team that's available job-wise is a good opportunity. I think coaching the Eagles as an OC, as an assistant offensive line coach, as the assistant to the assistant of the secretary, traveling secretary, it's desirable to be in Philly. Everyone is poached from Philadelphia, okay? Because our organization is built a certain way with success. Wonder why Greg Roman hasn't been interviewed. He might get one now that all these other... Yeah, Greg Roman's kind of like, letting all the chips fall and then seeing what's there. I still put Greg Roman as my number one choice of the options that are left. Greg Roman, Bobby Slowick, and Matt Nagy. They're my names. And they were all on my names when I did my top 15 list. They were all on my name list then. Yeah, I wanted Brian Daboll. And I wanted Todd Monken. I knew Todd Monken was a pipe dream. But that's it. It's not desirable because nobody wants to work under Sirianni. I think that's a load of horse shit, Adam. I really do. And pardon my language, but why wouldn't you want to work under Nick Sirianni? Huh? Let's go back over the last 5 years. He's been here for 5 years. He's made the playoffs all 5 years, right? 2 of his 4 OCs have gotten head coaching jobs, right? 2 of them did not. One of them still in football, Brian Johnson. We don't know what Kevin Patullo's, situation's going to be like after this year. Arguably, they might have pulled the plug on Brian Johnson too soon. Nick Sirianni stays out of your way. Look at Kevin Patullo. Last play of the year. Calls a bad play, and he lets him do it. He could have stepped in, and he said, no, you're my OC. I'm going to back you up. So you get a guy that'll back you up. You got a guy that will at least 50% likely get you a head coaching opportunity. You're going to get a team loaded with talent all over the place on offense. What is there not to like about working for Nick Sirianni? What does that say? Someone wants to go to Tennessee over a top 5 NFL team. I think it's nonsense, okay? And Brian Daboll, if you want to coach Cam Ward over this team, then I don't want you here. You know why? Because that tells me you're soft and you want the easy job. All right? You don't want to come to Philly. You don't want to challenge. You don't want to be criticized. Some of these guys just don't want to be criticized. Tennessee, you can go and do whatever you do. And, Brian Daboll spent the last 4 years in New York. getting criticized every day. Maybe he just doesn't want criticism. Maybe that's what it is. It has nothing to do with the job itself. It's the accountability from playing in Philadelphia. Not the eggs on your house, but the accountability that we hold our teams to. Kiss my ass. What? What? I don't even get that line. You know why it's not nothing. Needs to be said. Read between the lines. You know why it's not nothing. See, I do think it's nothing. All right? I think the Eagles OC job should be considered an attractive job. And if you are a potential coach and you think it's a bad place to go to work, then that means you're soft. Because there's every reason to be here. Throwing snowballs at Santa is the reason why we're in. Yeah, exactly. Of course it is. It's got to be, right? Fangio and McDaniels worked out the first time. Yeah, exactly. Like the Mike McDaniel thing. Like, Mike McDaniel didn't even come in, okay? He had a quick Zoom meeting with Howie and Nick from reports, and that was it. Like a check-in kind of thing, a feeler-out thing. Mike McDaniel was never in the card. Bo Bichette was more in the Phillies cards than Mike McDaniel in the Eagles cards, okay? I didn't say that total autonomy, but they want more than what is being offered. I disagree. I think Kellen Moore got plenty of autonomy. I hate the word autonomy. It's so hard for me to say for some reason. Autonomy. I didn't say, Kellen Moore had no problem with what he was given. And he's got a head coaching gig out of it. All right? He's got a big-ass diamond ring on his finger because of it. I knew Duck would be here poo-pooing on Nick. Look, Marshawn, maybe you'll get my back. I don't know. I think working for Nick Sirianni is probably one of the top spots to be in the NFL. A chance at a Super Bowl every year. A chance at a head coaching job of your choice. I mean, seriously, what's there not to like? It's a great city. A lot of people stay in Philly after they retire from sports. What happened? Did my mouse just die? Damn it, the battery on my mouse just died. That is going to make comments really difficult to do. Let's jiggle the battery here. See if that helps at all. Let's see. Do I got any more batteries? I do have a battery. I don't know if it's a good battery or not. Very hard. Very hard to do. Nope, that battery don't work either. All right, no mouse today. That is going to make comments very difficult. All right, I got to use the keypad thing here. All right. Also, they may not like Sirianni. I have had managers I don't like, and I moved on to other jobs, and we are talking good jobs. Look, I haven't always liked every manager I've had, okay? I haven't. But it doesn't mean the job wasn't desirable. Give me Greg Roman. He's not looking to leave. Look, Greg Roman has been my choice since day one outside of Brian Daboll. Good morning, Jimbo. How you doing? It's obviously clear as this process is going on that the OC position is not bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit, okay? Hurts are both. Look, Jalen Hurts is a desirable person to coach, okay? Did Daboll take the Bills job? No. Basically, the reports, Marshawn, are that Brian Daboll wants the Bills head coaching job, and if he doesn't get it, he will accept the Tennessee Titans OC job. I guess he's already committed to Tennessee. It's kind of like Brian Flores just signed an extension with Minnesota to stay there, D.C. But Minnesota's continued to allow him to take head coaching interviews elsewhere. So if you don't get the head coach, it's going to be Tennessee. What's up? How we doing this beautiful morning? Bring in Matt Nagy. Look, I got a Matt Nagy quote for you guys here. All right, this is from Andrew DiCecco, all right, from 97.5 Inside the Birds. He interviewed Nagy during the Super Bowl run last year, okay? This was his comments on Jalen Hurts. Decision-making is a great quality, and a quarterback protects the ball. He can beat you with your legs when necessary. He can beat you with your arm. He trusts his wide receivers. He trusts the system put in place. Altogether, that's what you want as a quarterback, or in your quarterback. Those are the characteristics you want in your quarterback. Matt Nagy already has a very high opinion of Jalen Hurts. I think Bobby Slowick is a great candidate. Obviously got a lot out of C.J. Stroud his rookie year. Kind of had a falling off, obviously. Great place for him to come, use his creative mind, and rebuild his reputation. Nagy was, in my list originally. He's only 47 years old. Yeah, I can't believe it. It's crazy. He looks old as hell. And I mean, he was coaching with the Eagles back in the Andy Reid era. Good morning, Elephant. How you doing? Good morning, Bucks fan. How you doing? You guys got a new OC as of this morning as well. Hate Bucks job. Look, the Eagles job is more desirable than the Bucks job. That's for sure. The problem with the OC job is in Philly is that it's a one-year job in their minds, judging by the history. That's a fair statement, right? So basically, what you're saying, it's not desirable because either I'm going to succeed and get my head coaching gig, or I'm going to fail and I'm going to get fired. So basically, what you're saying is people don't want to be the OC of the Eagles because if they fail, if they don't get to the Super Bowl, they're going to get fired. So you're telling me that the OC candidates not taking the Eagles job because it's not desirable are not taking it because they don't want to be held accountable. And you know what? If you don't want to be held accountable, then I don't want you here anyway. I'm sold on Roman and Slowick. I like Nagy because he has play calling experience from a Super Bowl winning team. Exactly. I think any of those three names would be fantastic. All three of those names have been on my list since day one. Nobody wanted to work with Bowles. Zach sucked. Look, Zach was interviewed by the Eagles as well. So, it is what it is. I wasn't high on Zach Robinson, but, there are worst options out there. Good morning, Kevin. How you doing? Yep, Zach Robinson, Bucks got him. Cool. Didn't want him anyway. I think you might be right. They might have moved from Johnson too soon. But I think, oh, man, I'm really far behind on comments now. I'm 7 minutes behind. That battery dropping out on my mouse really thinks. They probably did move on from Brian Johnson. Again, I've always said it. 8th ranked defense or offense in the NFL last year. Fan base. Nick is a CEO head coach, and he does nothing for this team. Also, fan base. Nick's offense is all, yeah, exactly. Yeah, double standards again, right? Exactly. That's a great point, Marshawn. Absolutely. Is this offense going to have A.J. Lane and Goddard not really loaded with talent after that? I mean, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith, Cam Jurgens. Well, Cam Jurgens, whatever. Okay. Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata. There's still plenty of talent here. All right? And A.J. Brown may or may not be here. Lane Johnson probably will be. Dallas Goddard probably won't be. I would say Lane Johnson's 98% likely to be here. A.J. Brown's like 90% likely to be here. Too many things have to fall into place at any given time for any team to be the top choice of anybody. Exactly. Okay, I get what you're saying now. Fangio and McDaniel never won nothing. Look, McDaniel might be one of the most overhyped guys in football right now. It's nothing to speculate. But see, the point why it is a conversation is because people aren't speculating. Media sites aren't speculating. They're saying it's a fact that this job isn't desired, that these people are specifically saying, no, I don't want to go to Philly because of Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. And that's nonsense. Daboll probably asked for a few years contract and they told him, we'll renegotiate. I doubt that. The job offer is always for 3 years with outs for head coaching opportunities and things like that. So it wasn't a contract-related thing, in my opinion. Think about getting your house egged and scaring your family because you aren't good at your job. Who wants to be put? Come on. I'm sure much worse happens elsewhere, right? Wouldn't it be funny if the whole OC carousel goes around and somehow Patullo gets his job back? I saw somebody else tweet this joke out, Adam. Don't worry. You still got him in the building if all else fails. I think it was Elliot Shores Park from WIP said this. The biggest piece of nonsense bullshit I've ever heard. And that's saying something coming from ESP, right? Who's always full of nonsense. I would not be a good OC, Jim. I do not have play calling experience in the NFL. I heard a lot of people blaming Hurts for the reason we don't have an OC yet. I disagree. I disagree 100% that Jalen Hurts has anything to do with nobody taking the job. And let me tell you something. What do you get outside of the comments from Matt Nagy, right, which were great, which I read off a few minutes ago, basically saying he's got every tool in the bag and every trait you want in your next OC, right? Outside of that, right? What else do you get in A.J. Brown? Or Jalen Hurts? What is Jalen Hurts' ceiling and what's Jalen Hurts' floor? Let me ask you that. Jalen Hurts' floor is making the playoffs every single year. What's Jalen Hurts' ceiling? His ceiling is Super Bowl MVP champion. One rung down from his ceiling is still outplaying the Super Bowl MVP in a losing effort in a Super Bowl. How many quarterbacks in the NFL have 2 Super Bowl appearances in the last 5 years, in the last 10 years, period? So Jalen Hurts has nothing to do with it, all right? But actually, Jalen Hurts' most attractive trait is he's a coach's son. Whatever you say, he's going to do it. He's going to listen to you. Talk about Garnett Hathaway completely blowing it last night. Who? 984. All right, we're gaining a little bit of momentum again. Use the thumb on your lap. I hate it. I hate the key. It's one of those little pads that you got to slide your finger around, and there's no buttons. Part of the pad is what you got to tap. I hate laptops like this. I really do. When I made the point yesterday of expecting negativity and then you'll get negativity, you tore that apart and poked fun of me. Then why do you get uppity when I bring up Hurts leaving or tearing an ACL? Because that's bringing negativity into the conversation. You're hoping, you're unknowingly hoping for Jalen Hurts to tear his ACL, and you don't even know it. Yes, the Mets just added Freddie Peralta. God, the fucking New York Mets. You know what? I don't even care what the Mets did. It's the fact that the Phillies are content still. Hate Zach Robinson for the Bucks. Yeah, I mean, he's okay. Nothing special. Nick takes up for his team, even when he knows it was John and AJ who changed the call. Yeah, but wouldn't want a head coach to work under that will take every bullet for you. Definitely a desirable job, Dante. Offense is loaded. 2 seasons removed from winning the Super Bowl with basically the same offense. Exactly. Who wouldn't want this job? Philly job not desirable because of the increasing scrutiny of the Philly media and fans. You might not believe that, but it's true. Look, maybe it is the media. And you got to be thick-skinned. You can't be soft to beat a Philly. But do you want somebody that's soft coming to Philly anyway? Do you want Philly to get soft on their players and coaches? People's houses get egged. I'm sure you've got plenty. Dude, exactly. My house has been, not my current house, but I've had houses egged before. Mets gave up way too much for a 1-year rental. Look, I just know the Mets are going for it. The Dodgers going for it again. Everybody's going for it. But the Phillies, they're content. Yay. They're content. That's what you want, to be content. I don't know that these OC candidates even gotten to the point where they even talked to Hurts yet. They probably did a Laurie and his son, Howie, and Laurie, his son, Howie, and Nick have been in every interview so far, from what I understand. If the Eagles OC isn't desirable, then you have a loser mentality. Exactly. If you don't want to be the Eagles OC, you have a loser mentality 1,000%. Why are you so high on Greg Roman? Because Greg Roman made Lamar Jackson into an MVP. His first MVP was under Greg Roman. Before that, Greg Roman was able to make Colin Kaepernick into a Super Bowl quarterback. All right? So Greg Roman does have a track record of success. He has coached teams to Super Bowls as an OC. Is he a perfect candidate? No. There is no perfect candidate, probably. But Greg Roman has a track record of success and a track record of developing mobile quarterbacks and getting them running and passing at the same time. I'd be pissed if the Phillies made a similar trade. Okay. Eagles only one OC job. There's a lot of OC jobs left because there's also a lot of head coaching jobs open still. I don't blame the Mets for going all in. I will laugh when exactly. I agree with you 100%, Marshawn. It's only a 1-year job if you effing blow. It's a 1-year job if you're great, too, Noobs. It's a 1-year job if you're great and you get a head coaching opportunity. Is it possible the Phillies are on the verge of collapse with aging veterans and lots of players like Suarez? I absolutely – I think – I don't want to sound negative, Rick, because I do want to believe, right? But I don't want to sound negative. But this response to your comment is going to be very negative. I think the Phillies are closer to missing the playoffs than winning a World Series. And that, to me, would be an epic collapse, okay? You definitely can't blame them, but they will surely fall apart because the Mets go to Met. Exactly. I don't blame them. Mets will always Met. Greg Roman has been around for a long time and well experienced. He put Chargers offense in good position the last few years. But we've never had a problem hiring OCs from the Chargers either. Normally that works out in our favor. You might know their names: Reich, Steichen, and more. Yeah, got a pretty good track record coming from the Chargers. It's a one-year job and leads to a head coach job if you do well. Again, don't want someone who yeah, exactly. I don't want any soft-minded people here. Here's the reality. None of these guys are much smarter or better than the other. It's about finding the right job for you. That's it. And it's finding the right person to fit the job and the culture and the organization as well. It's not just what's best for the coaches. It's what's best for the team, too. Harbaugh and Tomlin were also CEO. And they are. There's a lot more of that. Pete Carroll has been for a long time. There's lots of head coaches that are CEOs out there. It's out of the realm possibility for Brandon Sprout to reach what Freddie Peralta is. Is that one of the prospects they gave up? Mets will Mets by they are trying. The Phillies had Phillied the last few years. Exactly. So if the Mets met, what do we call the Phillies? It's the Phillies filled? They did that too. I agree. They didn't like the feel, and we need an OC that likes the feel. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And look, Matt Nagy has already been on record as saying he likes the feel of what Jalen Hurts brings to the table. No chance AJ is on this team. I don't know if it's no chance. I think there's a strong chance he is here. I think Howie will explore the options to trade him, without a doubt. But I think there will be a chance he's here because Howie's only going to make that move if it makes the team better. And finding a way to make the team better while losing A.J. Brown, that's a tough one. This Eagles team is on the verge of collapse. I think the Eagles team is less likely to collapse than the Phillies team. For sure, because when the Phillies collapse, it's going to be a longer time frame to fix it. The Eagles will never collapse into like this long, dark phase. Yeah, maybe they collapse and have a bad year and whatnot, right? But Howie, the last time we had a bad year, we made the playoffs from 17 through 19. Missed the playoffs in 20, and then we were right back to a 5-year playoff run again. So Howie won't allow this team to collapse into a dark phase or anything like that. Emmanuel Ocha is as big of a clown and clickbait artist as Scam Newton. 100%. 100%. Mike Kafka is not a bad option. Not a bad option at all. Actually, the Giants looked pretty good, when he took over as head coach and got to do things his way. So Mike Kafka as the Eagles OC is not the worst idea. I would take Matt Nagy from that Andy Reid tree over Mike Kafka, just a smidge. I just keep going back to the Mitchell Trubisky 12-win season. Be like, all right, Matt Nagy's got something. It's been worse elsewhere, but it is not national news if it happens elsewhere. Exactly. They're trying not hating on them for that. I just don't see Freddie Peralta as a high-end ace. No, I get it. He's the ace of a team like Brewers, but not anywhere else. Never saw anybody egg Bill Walsh's house or Harbaugh or Tomlin. Look, it happens, okay? Crap happens everywhere. Thank you very much, Mr. Muchas gracias. Here's to the mouse battery fun. I do got to get – I think I might have some batteries up. I know I have AAA batteries. I don't know if it double A's, but I'll break into a remote at some point if I have to. We've been to 3 Super Bowls in 8 years and a World Series, and this fan base and media has gotten worse, just like a spoiled child. Yeah, true. We have been spoiled in the last decade, Rick. You are not lying there. We have been a spoiled bunch. The youngins have no idea what it's like before this current run in this city. Haven't they always tried, though? They've had bigger off seasons, in my opinion. The one where they signed Wagner, Delgado, and either Santana. Yeah. They you know what? But I don't hate teams for swinging and missing. I don't. I hear you. It's starting to feel like Herbert is the problem. I would not want to be the OC of Justin Herbert. Guaranteed failure there. I never hope, but nobody cares. I never hope for injury. When I say be more positive and the universe will reward you, but you're not that way when it comes to you say that, but yet you are so contradictory of yourself in so many aspects. I heard they're giving away We Are Content shirts out on opening day. We are content. I look at content and content. I hate it. I never know how to say it. We Are Content shirts on opening day. They probably should. This is an absolutely desirable job. This job here, hosting the show, is not desirable, but It's a desirable job, the Eagles' job. It really is. Phillies are on the verge of a monumental collapse. I don't know about monumental, but the last time we ran it back for 5 years was 2012. Guess what? This is year 5 of running it back. There are issues when you lose a game and they're egging your freaking house. It wasn't one game that caused those fans to get drunk and do that, okay? Guys, please, if you have not yet, hit the like button on the video, share this out, and subscribe. Please, I beg you, hit those buttons. It's free to do. It costs you nothing. Prior to Topper taking over the team, the Phils missed the playoffs for a decade. Do you believe that that's about to happen? I don't know if they'd missed the playoffs for a decade because they got a lot of guys under contract for a long time. But they're trending more in that direction than they are to overtaking the Dodgers as the best team in baseball. Philly's just masquerading as content when really the truth would reveal they're broke, no money and no prospects. I like how you say no money, no prospects, because it's not that they're just broke financially. They're broke in other aspects. So I like the way you phrased that, Elephant. What's up, Keith? Folks are making a bigger deal than this is. The OC is not that important. The OC is important. I disagree with that. But I agree that folks are making it a big deal that nobody wants to be here because 2 people had 10 opportunities presented, and they chose which one they wanted the most. Is it possible all 4 teams combined in Philly don't win a championship for another 10? I mean, anything's possible. This is Philadelphia, the losingest city in the history of sports. But I would like to think that the Eagles will win another championship in the next 3 to 4 years. I don't see the Phillies or the Sixers or the Flyers winning a championship in the next 10 years. 20 years is too long to predict. But in the next 10 years, the Eagles are the only team I really, truly, honestly feel have a chance to win a championship. Think we get Joe Brady when he doesn't get the head coaching job. Joe Brady's a name. I mean, I wouldn't be afraid of Joe Brady here. I wouldn't criticize it. And see, here's the thing. Maybe Joe Brady is the right choice for the Eagles, right? And if they would have rushed to make a decision on a soft-ass piece of shit like Mike McDaniels or a soft-ass man like Brian Daboll who'd rather go coach Cam Ward in Tennessee than face the firing squad in Philly, then maybe we're doing the right thing of being patient till all the potential, guys are interviewed and questioned. As long as there are head coach openings, that is always going to be more desirable. Exactly. The OC is not that important. What are you best at? Yeah, the OC job is kind of important. If a person had a pet and yelled at it all the time and treated it negatively, do you believe the pet would be happy and flourish? Oh my God. I don't even want to talk about the positivity and negativity from you anymore. If the Eagles OC job is undesirable, then what is desirable about the Raiders and Titans and Browns jobs? You know what's the most desirable of those other jobs, Big Al? It's really simple. Those other jobs are more desirable than Philly for one reason only: accountability. You're not held accountable by the fans, the media, and the team in those cities. Here, you're one and done. You either become a head coach or you get fired because you suck at your job. The media will criticize you. The fans will criticize you. By the time Phil reads this, we will be up to 985. Are we? I got to refresh my screen. Nope. Still 984. Still 984. How far behind am I? 827. I'm only 7 minutes behind. It's been worse before. Do you think anything coming out of Kenzo is any good? I don't know. Howie's offseason moves are what's going to move the needle. Absolutely agree with you on that, Keith. And Howie Roseman's going to have one of the most challenging off seasons of his career, at least of recent memory. With all the free agents, with all the contract extensions that are coming up, with the question mark on A.J. Brown, this is going to be one of the most difficult off seasons of Howie Roseman's career, or difficult in the sense of tough decisions that are going to need to be made. He doesn't want to play with Hurts. Brandon Graham said it already. He kind of said it, but whatever. Okay. It doesn't mean he's getting traded. They have been best friends. Remember, go back to the conversation from Jason Kelsey about him and Lane Johnson. Best friends all the time. They had 1 year stretch where they didn't talk for almost an entire year and played together. Sometimes brothers in a locker room, have a falling out. It doesn't mean that a lifetime friendship cannot be repaired in this offseason. Good morning, Robert. Hope you're doing well this morning. Garrett Hathaway, the fourth line forward, that hot dog then got stripped on, then let him go. You're talking Flyers. You're talking Flyer stuff. I think the house egging might be a bigger factor than we think. Got to think about their families. I guess. Is Andrew Painter and Aiden Miller and Justin Crawford too much for Skubal? I think the Phillies should try. It's a lot. I mean, Skubal is amazing. I get it. But that's a lot. I would trade them all. Can we somehow trade two of them and throw somebody else in? I don't know. Let's try to fire through some of these here and get a little bit more caught up. Nothing you can't give up that much for a 1 year rental. That would just add to what's already. Yeah. I mean, if you'd have to get a long-term contract out of them too. Are we getting spoiled like the Pats at this point? To be spoiled like the Pats duck, the Eagles would have to win more than one Super Bowl, right? We've only got one Super Bowl, so that's not that much, okay? I haven't seen other coaches' houses getting egged, but I've seen fans in other cities murder people for being a fan of another team. So what's worse? A little egg cleaning? Or murders? We're putting murders less serious than egging. And it's also, by the way, it's also the simple fact that the media covers the egging of a house nationally way more than they cover the murders, just so you know. What do you think I want to change to know if Hurts don't want to run? The family safety issue of eggs. Yeah, like, seriously. Who the hell wishes an injury on anyone? You have to be safe. Rick won't admit that. He's not wishing it. He's saying, but what if he does that? That's why we need Tanner McKee. Play Tanner McKee because maybe Jalen Hurts will tear his ACL. It's nonsense. It's basically subliminally wishing for it. When it comes to play calling, do you have Dougie P or Nagy? I'd probably go Matt Nagy over Dougie P. Dougie P. Yeah, I'd probably take Matt Nagy over Dougie P. Phil can't pronounce content or content, which is why we love him. I can pronounce it. I just don't know when I'm half reading a comment on the fly which one it's going to be. Yes, Daboll will either be the head coach in Buffalo today or he'll be the Titans offense coordinator tomorrow. Unappreciative fan base by any chance. Unappreciative? I mean, you're unappreciative of A.J. Brown and what he's done for the city. The OC and Jalen Hurts. The OC job is desirable, but not for coaches who have choices to place you prefer to be. Yeah, and if you want a soft city, if you want to not held accountable, if you don't care about winning titles, all you care about is putting tape on film, then choose the lesser place. Good. I don't want you then. He might leave. He might. I'm turning down a $3 million job because of blue eggs on my porch. Yeah, right. Very dark days for Philly sports on the horizon. I don't know if it's dark days, but maybe there's a chance, Rick. Who's the biggest disappointment in Philly sports the last 3 years? Biggest disappointment in Philly sports the last 3 years. I got to think about this. I mean, I'm going to spitfire here. I'll throw, I don't know. I'm trying to pick a Phillies player that would be that. Daryl Morey before this year. Dave Dombrowski. Dave Dombrowski is the biggest disappointment in Philly sports over the last 3 years. Hands down. Eagles and the Wings win before the Phillies. I like you throwing the Wings. I mentioned the Wooder Dogs yesterday. I forgot about the Philadelphia Wings. My apologies. Regarding the Eagles, says Rob, I'm not worried even a little bit. I have full faith in that organization to fix the issues. Roseman is very intelligent and learned a lot over the years. The man does not sleep. Thank you. Thank you for the positivity. Thank you for that comment because I agree with it 100%. Yeah, Joe Brady's a good name. Another candidate. Absolutely. Whoever is trying to turn Mitchkoff into Coots is the biggest disappointment. Okay. All right. Yes, the Wings are still in Philly. And I think I heard they're pretty good this year. Joe Brady worse than Patullo's son. Wake up. I mean, you just feel that way because your Bills just failed again. Daboll is a weirdo. He showed that on the on that Pat McAfee show. Yeah. The Eagles OC job isn't desirable, but I think a guy like Mike Kafka is ideal. Just hope Jalen isn't a real stagnation of any OC. How is he a stagnation of any OC? 2 of his 4 OCs have got head coaching jobs. Seriously. Kensington catching strays today. I mean, rightfully so, but they are. Raiders, Titans, and Browns jobs are desirable because they are rock bottom. Only place to go. That's a great way to phrase it, okay? If you go to the Titans or Raiders or Browns, okay, and you get them to 8 wins, you're lauded a hero. You get a head coaching job. You come to Philly, just making the playoffs is the bare minimum expectation. The only real true expectation is getting and winning a Super Bowl. Spot on comment from you, Duck, right there. Love it. I'm not for it today, but one day I will rant on why Pat McAfee's show is the Ridley Scott Napoleon. Like, I'm actually torn on Pat McAfee. I love his show sometimes. I absolutely hate his show sometimes. I mean, I would love a setup like Pat McAfee. Give me Pat McAfee's, opportunity. That would be great. I mean, he's great at what he does, and he stirs controversy well. So, I mean, his love fest with somebody like Aaron Rodgers, that's kind of annoying to me. If Hurts does get injured, is there a chance of the Eagles winning a championship? No, there's not. Jalen Hurts is the number 1 player on this team that gives us the best chance of winning a Super Bowl. All right? Tanner McKee will not win a Super Bowl with anything we have seen yet. So if Jalen Hurts got hurt, you've got to go out and get another quarterback, and that doesn't mean anything either. Is this thing on? You're on. You're listening. I help give really opinions to coping Phillies fans unrealistic. I mean, you're a coping, Bills fan, so this is just a reactionary fan base. I love our fans, but sometimes they don't use their brains. They're conducting a thorough interview process because they want someone that's going to be long-term or just the right fit. But you're right. I said this earlier in the show. We complain that they rushed to hire Kevin Patullo. They are exhausting every aspect of the interview process, and people are annoyed now. 21 watching, it's not bad. It's not bad. Still, hit the like button, subscribe button, and share button, guys. Get the F out of here. That Flyers. Exactly. I didn't watch no Flyers last night. I actually watched reruns of Criminal Minds. Bro, it's a way bigger story than this useless speculation. I don't know about that, Nooms. Let me tell you something. We got 25 people watching right now in YouTube. I bet you it'd be 5 if today's topic was the Flyers, okay? When will we get it? The Eagles run Sirianni's offense. It's been that way since he got here. Steichen and Moore both ran Sirianni's offense. What about that? And I'm okay with that. Sirianni can have massive influence on the offense. There's nothing wrong with it. He's obviously a very strong offensive mind. Terrible play caller, right? But that's it. We have 2 Super Bowls, Phil. We have 2 Super Bowls. 2 Super Bowls in the last decade. 3 appearances in the last decade. During the interview, before I say yes, I say, bring Hurts in. I'm here. Yo, Hurts, you asked for you. Yeah, I don't know if that's the way it goes, but I get it. The art is in the play calling. Exactly. You either have it or you don't have it, right? Howie Roseman may be the real issue for the Birds. He fears not being in control. He fears not being in control of the roster and might be a turnoff for the OC candidate. I mean, sure, maybe. I don't know if that's an issue, though. I mean, I would want to work for a guy like Howie Roseman that'll give me the weapons, that'll do what's necessary to fix any weaknesses on the team. Who's Sam Urson? The problem is that an incoming OC and their family sees the negativity and scrutiny and don't want to deal with that stuff. I mean, doesn't that make them soft? That they're worried about being criticized in the media or by the fan base on a podcast that's got less than 1,000 subscribers? Is that what's going to stop you from taking a great opportunity? It's a pit stop in your career coming here. Another factor for 24, plays were getting in late, and Hurts had way less time to audible. Look at the audible numbers. No one reports on that. Yeah, look, you got to get the plays in quicker. And I was talking about that in training camp, in preseason. and on. That the play calls were coming in way too late. I can't say Mitchkoff's a disappointment yet. He's 20 years old. All right? 20. I knew what you meant. That's why I didn't correct it. Biggest disappointment so far is Harper. I almost said Bryce Harper, Big Al. I almost did, but I didn't want to be that guy. Tywin Walker's huge disappointment. He was not a disappointment. He was great last year. And honestly, I mean, we got what I expected out of him. Missing my point when it comes to the egging. Fear on the unknown of what could be next. I mean, no one's fearing the unknown and going to San Francisco where there's murders at the stadium. Your families go to the stadium. Daboll and McDaniel have millions in the bank from their head coach. Eggs on a wall and a lifestyle issue when you have a choice. Lifestyle issue, okay. It's fine. So is hiring someone to clean it. Yeah, exactly. He's an ass clown. But he's a rich-ass ass clown that's got a huge-ass following that people love. And he gets to wrestle once every other year. Do we actually need an OC, though? We do, yes. McAfee is the physical manifestation of ADD. It's actually the best way I've ever seen it done there, or said about him, for sure. If I put myself in Daboll's shoes, I would think that Tennessee is a fresh block of clay that I can mold. Eagles, you have to fill in the cracks while praying it doesn't fall apart. And that goes back to, Duck's comment earlier. You go to the other places, the only place you can go is up, right? You've already hit, those other places have hit rock bottom. You got something to mold, to build, to win 8 games, and you move on, right? Here, it's how do I get this Super Bowl team back to the Super Bowl? People glaze McAfee because it's literally the only show on ESPN anymore anybody watches. Because they put all their money into it, is why it's the only show watchable on there. You're an utter idiot if you don't take a coaching job with the Eagles. Forget the fact that they're always good. Every time it leads to, not every time. Sometimes it's Kevin Patullo or Brian Johnson. But yeah, I agree with you. We can even go back further and add Frank Reich got a head coaching job off his time in Philly. If you stop to think about it, it really is pretty nonsensical to think someone who puts themselves in harm's way to play football is putting eggs as a factor, family or not. I don't think the eggs have anything to do with it. McAfee is a bottle feeder that makes great content because of his connections and personality. Look, I respect the grind that he does. I do. See how fans operate one by one, not joining the Eagles and you're automatically shit. Everyone was worshiping Daboll up until yesterday. Exactly. He's my number one choice. He still is my number one choice. He hasn't signed a contract yet with Tennessee. It sounds like he's verbally committed. And I'm okay if he doesn't come here. I know Daboll wasn't the perfect candidate. There is no perfect candidate. My biggest issue is people saying, actually, there was a lot of people that didn't want Daboll, to be honest, early on. But, with Brian Daboll leaving, he made that choice. I'm fine with it. It doesn't mean the end of the world. It doesn't mean we're an undesirable location because he chose to go elsewhere. Pat McAfee love fest for Aaron Rodgers, similar to yours with Hurts. No, not at all. Okay, so it's a completely different thing. Aaron Rodgers is a bad person, okay? I will give McAfee credit. He fits in the wrestling realm like a glove. He does. And he's willing to throw that body on the line once a rare blue moon. Hold on. What? See, it's these damn buttons. Curse on McAfee. So, yeah. I love that they allow the cursing on McAfee's show. I do. You can't be the most passionate fan base and use your brain at the same time. That's so true. Nobody wants their house egged thanks to those moron Eagles fans. Obviously, no one wants their house egged. Obviously, nobody wants... I don't want you guys to know where I live. Or you'd probably come egg my house. Right? But that's not the reason why people aren't taking the Eagles job. Let's see if Patullo will get a head coaching job after his time with Jalen. He's not. Although there were reports that he was on people's lists earlier in the season. There's nothing wrong with Sirianni's plays. It's his in-game play calling. Exactly. You just need somebody that's going to work. I wouldn't want, again, I said this earlier in the show, I wouldn't want my organization to be where you do not have to answer to your boss. Do we want the next OC to not answer to Jalen or to Nick Sirianni? Come on. Eagles fans just don't use their heads. I mean, a lot of people don't. People would have lined up to be the OC, but after the egging incident, idiot fans. I don't think the egging is stopping people from taking the job. Sirianni is the problem. Mitchie Poo, no, that is a 1,000% inaccurate. Why would people not want to be with Nick Sirianni? Other than not wanting to be held accountable. They just don't want the pressure of having to win. Nick Sirianni is a winner. I don't know if it's soft more than why deal with the negativity when you and your family could go somewhere else. Well, that's a different way of putting it, okay? All right? You don't want to deal with the negativity. You want an easier, safer spot. And I mean safer as in safer mentally speaking, not safer physically. I'm in danger, okay? I want to go somewhere with less pressure, that I feel like it's a safe place, that I'm not going to be stressed out on a daily basis. Yeah, you're going to be stressed out here in Philly. You're going to be held accountable here in Philadelphia. If you want the softer or easier path to a job, go for it. Phil in chat, Brady stinks. Avoid him. I'm so tired of hearing about the eggs. It wasn't even people from Philly. Some idiots from Jersey. Get over it. I got over it. The egg part wasn't even on my list of reasons why here, okay? If your kids are being crapped on in school for your work, it might be a decision-making point. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's part of the lifestyle. The funny thing is, we are no more or less knowledgeable than other fan bases. We think we are. We're not. We really aren't. Yeah. Every fan base has their idiots. Every fan base has their smart ones. And every fan base has a majority of their people that think they know what they're doing, that think they can step on the field any given Sunday and do the job. Eagles fans pelted 49ers. They did not pelt the 49ers. Good 49ers fans are. We did not. Okay, there was wind blowing stuff around, and people are making out like we were throwing, and we weren't. We think because we react to things and cheer little things that we're better, we really aren't. It's just expression. It's fair, and that's fine. If it wasn't for Howie, the Eagles would be the Cardinals of the East. I don't disagree with you on that. If you have to rationalize egging somebody's house as a family being soft, then you've already answered your own question as to why people don't want to come here. No one said that they're soft because of the egging, all right? We're saying that that's not the determining factor in why they are not coming here. That's all we said. You like to take a comment and flip it on its side. Phil Glaze hurts. He never called him out for playoff loss. I actually did, and I blamed him massively for it, but cool. Rich Eisen is a good watch on the ESPN. On the ESPN. It's not just on ESPN. I like that. Did you see the Niners are now blaming their injuries on electromagnetic frequencies coming from under their practice facility? I did not see that, K1, but not surprised. That sounds very San Francisco-esque of that organization. At least, hold on, before we continue. At least we blame our coaches or our players for our failures. The Niners just blame everything else, right? I love that. If I had to guess, the people that egged Patullo's house probably haven't graduated. They haven't, or they probably couldn't even name 5 Eagles players. They're casual fans, right? Phil, in Mrs. Doubtfire, there was a drive-by fruiting. This is more dangerous than eggs. What they throw, apples and oranges? Throw a cantaloupe through a window? Daboll would be good in Tennessee because he will develop Cam Ward. Solid, no interest in Cam. His focus on defense. I want to see Cam do well. I mean, I want to see everybody do well, sure. Like, I don't think Cam Ward will, but, yeah. We didn't need Daboll's New York Giants juju kicking around here anyway. That's fair, Freddie Defo. Absolutely. We didn't want that stench of the Giants here. K1 surprised the MF aren't blaming climate control. Yeah. I mean, climate control has something to do with it, probably. Who thought Doug and Nick would work out? 2 unknown in the coaching world, and we see how that worked out. Remember, desirable was Chip Kelly. Good point. Why hasn't Chip Kelly been interviewed for the OC job? OCs don't put themselves in harm's way. What? I mean, we caught the kid, the egged our house. His parents made him clean up our porch and gave us $500 to get the whatever off our siding. Good. Done. Phil, but your house isn't worth the eggs. Eggs in general aren't worth being wasted. to a house in Jersey. May not have been Eagles fans. They may have been. They may have been casual. Who cares? It's over with. That is not why Patullo and McDaniels did not take jobs in Philadelphia. We wouldn't egg your house. We might bring beer and scotch. I mean, I'll take the scotch for sure. Dude, I'll try to throw a trend. If I threw a trending in the AM house party, how many of you would come? We could set up the basement here. I got a bar in the basement. We can watch TV. We can live stream together. If I did a trending in the AM watch party, or house party, how many would come? South Jersey is all Eagles fans. Yes, it is. It's cheaper to give you $500 and getting my homeowners rates checked up was the line I got from the parents. Yeah. I saw a few reports that some of the OCs don't want the job because it hurts lack of wanting to adjust. And I have heard that too. And I think that's crazy because I think he's adjusted to what each OC is called. The thing is, I said this early in the show, very early in the show, Rick. Maybe you weren't in the chat yet or listening yet. I said, why you wouldn't want to coach Jalen Hurts when you know what his floor and ceiling is. Jalen Hurts' floor is making the playoffs every year. His ceiling is Super Bowl champion MVP. One rung down on that ladder, okay, is Super Bowl performer that outperformed the MVP in a loss. So why wouldn't you want to work with Jalen Hurts? Why wouldn't you want to tweak a little bit about what you do to have a perennial playoff quarterback help you get your next head coaching job? So that's that. Salty because Indiana won the championship and his coach is going to prison. His coach isn't going to prison. Isn't his coach from Michigan going to work? He got hired by John Harbaugh. Name me a coach that argues with his own fans. I will wait. It's passion. I enjoy the passion, quite frankly. Insiders. Right, exactly. You know what's funny about insiders? Every Philadelphia fan bashed all year Deanna Rossini and Dove Clive, all these accounts, whether they're media or fake accounts, for their bad reporting and bad nonsense. Now, all of a sudden, in the offseason, we believe every report these accounts put out. We went from not believing to instantly believing everything. It's nonsense. I don't believe anything till it happens. A funny thing happened on the way to the fridge. A Phil story. What? Great point, Doug. Okay. Hold on. So far behind, but yet my mouse isn't working, so I'm trying to figure this out. Duck's last comment that was so great. We won't egg your house. We bring scotch. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. What you'd bring to my house. I don't think it's the egging is the biggest factor, but I think it's a factor. I don't know. I said what? I don't know. I wouldn't be talking about coaches if I was a Michigan fan. That's true. It's true. I'd rather him yell at fans than sleep with his assistants, right? We should call Phil Glazer. Go for it. Go for it. I've been called much worse than that, Josh Allen. We should blame our first-round playoff losses to the Sunoco plant down that way. It's true. Probably had something to do with it. I gave $250 to my neighbor whose doorbell cam caught it. It was his video that caught it. That was very, very, very polite of you. I'd have given him $20 or a six-pack of beer. The place in Langhorne that set up a giant picture of Patullo for fans to drill golf balls at. That's not New Jersey, and that's not kids. It's the miserable fan base. You're telling me that kind of shit doesn't happen everywhere. You just don't hear about it because, A, it's not publicized, and B, because you don't live in those cities. That kind of shit happens everywhere, Rick. Throwing axes at faces, throwing darts at faces. It's nothing new. Fans are allowed to be pissed off and frustrated when their teams don't win. Plain and simple. He didn't need to do that. I know you would be, Adam. I know you would be. Booze at your I always have booze at my house. There's never not booze. Shoot, I'm almost obligated to come. Freddie Depot, you would be. You would be. Conspiracy theory. It was ESP egging. Slow news. Yeah. ESP slipped a bunch of kids $20 each and say, yo, go egg this house. What do I think about Charlie Weiss Jr.? I'm intrigued. I won't say that I knew much about him before his name popped up last week, Kevin, okay? I didn't know who he was before last week, okay? I remember his dad, especially at Notre Dame. I'm intrigued. Reports are, though, that he is declining at this point leaving college for the pros. But I'm intrigued by a Charlie Weiss type, for sure. This does have a whiff of ESP troll. It does. I mean, he is a troll, right? Can you imagine ESP egging houses in his sweater vest? Does he wear sweater vests? I don't know. The New World Order puts magnets in the footballs. Is that what it is? It's possible. Aaron Rodgers also won a Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP. What did that do for him after that? Look, yeah, and I've held it, and I will give Jalen Hurts the same criticism if at the end of his career he's only won one Super Bowl and one MVP. Absolutely. Now, my Aaron Rodgers hates twofold, right? I give him criticism because he hasn't won much lately or in the last decade plus, but I also give him criticism because he's a bad person. So Jalen Hurts is a good person. So he'll only get the criticism one-sided if he doesn't win another Super Bowl. ESP dresses like he's going over the meadow and through the woods to grandma's house he goes. Oh, man. We started believing Rossini and stuff because Sloan... Exactly. We don't believe her. Oh, then she puts out one comment and the world blows up. Like, seriously, what's up with that? How come we can't just stick to the simple fact that let it play out. See what happens. Can't use Super Bowl MVP as a greatness arguing point. See Timmy Smith later. Look, I get it. I get it. But we're not talking about how we evaluate them at the end of their careers. We're talking right now. And we're talking about people not wanting to come here because of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is not going to stop somebody from taking this job. In fact, it should be an attractive piece. Okay? We're talking 5 years into a career. 2 Super Bowl appearances and a Super Bowl championship. In 10 years, if it's still just one Super Bowl appearance and one Super Bowl victory, then that's a different story. I get it. But we're talking after the career fact with that guy right there, okay? We're comparing apples and oranges here, okay? Sleeping with a side piece isn't the problem. Getting the crazy side piece, pregos is the problem. Well, both are a problem in my book, but that's more a moral issue there. The conspiracy theory stuff is crazy. I heard the Seahawks are using Terminator-like clones of their players. I mean, it sounds legit to me. It does. Hurts is running quarterback that doesn't run. The OC is in trouble unless Tanner is the quarterback. Stop. Don't. Is this a Rick Burner account? Hopefully, if you are a Rick Burner account, you subscribe. Jalen Hurts might not want to run. We'll find out next year with the next coach, right? We will. But as of this point, I'm not sure he doesn't want to run. I just don't know if the plays were called. Okay? I'd still take working with Jalen Hurts over any other quarterback in the NFL right now of open jobs. And Tanner McKee, we don't know jack shit about Tanner McKee. Always 90s Kmart family portrait. Man, ESP, justifiably, catching strays left and right today. Pissed off and frustrated during one of the best times overall in sports. Speaks volumes about the media and the fan base. You know, though, Rick, and let me dive into this for 1 second, okay? I don't always like to blame the media, right, for the problems and whatnot. Let me tell you something. I listened to WIP for the first time in ages for like 10 minutes last week, right? And I turned it on only to listen to the Howie and Nick presser while I was in my car. And the presser started late, so whatever. And I can finally see where the negativity or the frustration or the actions of the fan base is actually driven by the fans or by the media. Because when you listen, people tune in every day to those channels, whether they should or not. And those people knowingly drive clicks and calls with comments. People believe and listen. So if you're on the radio and you say something, all those followers are going to listen and believe it's the truth. If you're a former NFL player and you, to get clicks and views, to make more money, say something negative, the fans are going to believe it. So you got to blame the media for not being more positive. Because if the media was more positive or straightforward with their conversations, then the fans would be too. What did Rossini say? I missed it. Deanna Rossini is the one that's pretty much stirring up the drama that nobody wants to come and be the Eagles OC because of Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. She's saying that these people are passing on the job solely because they don't want to work under Nick Sirianni and because they don't want Jalen Hurts as their quarterback. Phil, do you know how hard it is to get a Super Bowl, none then less than just one? Look, I get it. It's extremely difficult. It is. Great point. All in for the king. What? What great point? Better not be talking about the Tanner McKee. A good number of those runs were audibles, which were lower in volume in 2025. Yeah. They didn't run the read option as often. I definitely would have liked to have seen a couple more called quarterback runs and quarterback draws, obviously. But yeah, the play calling just wasn't good enough. Didn't MVP Hurts say the offense is what he wants it to be? Charlie Weiss needs more experience. Bad idea. Look, I'm not, I don't know anything about Charlie Weiss before last week, okay? We'll start there, okay? All right? And I read up on him, and some of it's intriguing. He might need more experience, yeah. But sometimes teams love to go out and get the newest hot thing, earlier rather than later. MVP Hurts says the offense is what he wants it to be. Of course it is. If you want your quarterback to run an offense that he isn't physically capable of running, everybody's going to fail. Here's a round. This is Jalen Hurts. He's a round peg. Here's a square hole. We're going to shove it in there. That's not how you run a successful team. Jalen Hurts should have a massive say in what the offense is. Don't you want your offense coordinator and your play caller to be on the same page with the quarterback? Is it possible you overvalue Hurts? Absolutely. I probably do overvalue Hurts. Absolutely. But I also know the facts as well. Okay? And the facts are Jalen Hurts is a known commodity with a winning pedigree. Tanner McKee is not. So you would rather switch from a known commodity to an unknown commodity. And if that unknown commodity fails, we're at square one. The window stays open with the known commodity. Phil Illuminati knows the conspiracy. What? Here we go. Exactly, Kev. Like it's. I have to write down timestamps. I don't even write it down anymore. Fairly confident Daboll had been the plan in Buffalo. I do too. I think he will be the head coach by the end of the day. Is it possible if somebody disagrees with your opinion, you discredit them? Oh, I don't discredit them. That's why I put every opinion up here. Your opinions matter. Isn't the point for us to disagree? Isn't the point of sports debate that we are going to disagree more often than not? You can't handle that I don't agree with you. I do handle that you disagree with me. I just think your Tanner McKee comments are nonsense. That's my opinion. You disagree with it. If we are going to change quarterbacks, let's go big. We're not changing quarterbacks. Don't even bring it up. Well, if that ain't the pot calling the kettle black, what? Us as fans gave to fight the media's negativity, have to fight the media's negativity with positivity. There's a quiet battle going on, and the good guys need to start winning. Yeah, I agree with you on that. 25 watching, 25 likes. This is a few minutes old. Let's check. But if you guys haven't, like, share, subscribe, hit those buttons. I'd greatly, greatly appreciate it. It would be much needed, much helpful. If you haven't, there's 25 people watching. I'm sure some of you have not subscribed. Please click the subscribe button. Shameless plug. Chat in the chat. Philly Press Box Radio tonight, 7 p.m. right here on the STT Sports Network. Yeah, special guest tonight. This guy will be joining Chet and Bill Furman tonight live at 7 p.m. right here on the STT Sports Network, where I get to talk. I don't get to respond to your comments. I get to respond to his questions, and I can't wait. Wait till you see how the Flyers blew it last night, Phil. You'll call yourself out eventually. Yeah. I don't want to look. It's been so bad from what you said. I think the media is right. I just feel you guys in here don't want to see the ugly truth. People tend to get upset when people put the truth out there. What truth? Because I think the truth that you're talking about, what I'm assuming you're talking about, the non-desirable job, I think it's nonsense. I really, truly do. If you're over a certain age and still let the media drive your opinions, that is very true. But you know what they do? They believe what they hear on the radio. I mean, we were told stuff about Carson Wentz we didn't want to believe that, but it ended up being true, and that's fine. And that's true. Joe Santoliquito, I mean, I didn't believe it. I'll admit I was wrong there, right? Absolutely. And you're fine. And you got a valid point right here, AK. In all honesty, why is there no OC beating down the door to take over the OC job here? How do we know nobody's not beating down the door? Okay? How do we know that? All right? We know about the OC job from reporters that are reporting sources that we've not believed for the last 10 years. We're believing reporters that we don't believe, and we're seeing what's being put out there by the Eagles, and that's it. So do you believe them or not? Plain and simple. You can't pick and choose when you believe them. But if the media is wrong, shame on them for spinning false narratives to make themselves look and sound better. I agree with that as well. I like that you don't agree with me. I'm here to bring balance, and that's fine. That's all it is. This is an opinionated show. That's all it is. No sources, no reports, no rumors. Well, all of that. But we're just debating what we see and hear. The validity of it, the rights and the wrongs of it. That's all we do here. And on that, let's touch base here. The poll question of the day, is the Eagles' offensive coordinator job desirable? Right now, 36 votes. 44% of you say yes, it is. 56% say no. And I'm just going to tell you, 56% of you are wrong. All the Carson stuff did turn out to be true. It did. It really did. Are people still talking about moving on from Hurts, even after what we saw out of Josh Allen? I know, Freddie. I know. AK's got some good points. He does. Maybe I'm naive for thinking this time it's different. Maybe. We don't need WAP to get us upset. That offense was the most overpaid and underperformed. Yeah, let's just call the whole offense out, right? Highest paid offense put out such shit performance, right? All in for the king. You're new to the channel? I don't remember this before today. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. We do this every day. Let's call out the offense as a whole. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, the entire offensive line, Devontae Smith. Let's call them all out. They all underperformed this year. To an extent, Kevin Patullo just fell on the sword for them, right? What would this offense have looked like if A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts hooked up on some of those plays that either he dropped, he didn't run out, or misreads by Jalen Hurts? Like if Saquon Barkley or the offensive line blocked for Saquon Barkley, what would this year have looked like? Let's do that, and I like that. I stopped letting the media influence my opinions a long time ago. I now pray at the Church of Phil. Remember the Family Guy episode where Peter Griffin started the Church of the Fonz? Hey, you guys got to start the Church of the Phil. Bubbles up, right? I'm a subscriber, but I don't get any posts from your channel like when you go live, new videos, etc. Check up on that. Do you have the notifications turned on? I mean, the channel is set up the way I know how to set it up. And just because you turn the notifications on YouTube by clicking the bell, if on your phone YouTube notifications are turned off, that could be a part of it as well. Otherwise, I'm not sure. Otherwise, 1 or 2 eggs a day can fit fine in a healthy diabetes diet. But Big Ham, oh, man. We haven't had a Wilford Brimley comment in a while. I'm glad the eggs are part of it today. I like how you don't even want to talk about – I don't want to talk about a quarterback change. It's stupid. We need Chris Franklin on here to get the real Eagles news. That is true. I'm sure Chris Franklin appreciates that 100%, Adam. Chris Franklin is the man. Most of the media is like the doctor that prescribes drugs without asking if you have a history of addiction. Passive, lazy, but it makes me and my employer money. And I'm not liable. You're not liable for it. What's up, Bruce? Good morning to you. Hope you are well this beautiful morning. Snowmageddon's happening this weekend, guys. Don't forget. Go out and get your eggs and milk. There you go, discrediting people's votes because it's different from yours. It's exactly hence why I laughed when I discredited, okay? I'm just saying, bro, I listen to everything and everyone. I don't shut one door, keep one open. I gather everything and then make my judgment. I agree. I'm the same way. As I go through the day, I bookmark all these different tweets from different opinions, from different media, and then I go read it at the end of the night and formulate my opinions. I'm the same way. All I'm worried about right now is the 11:30 when the Amex tees off. I'm just worried about, as soon as the show ends, double-checking for withdrawals. from the Amex. That's it. Making sure my lineups are balanced and ready to rock and roll. Let's go. Daniel Berger week. For K1, I do have quite a bit of Christian Bazunu in lineups this week. Phil, we have so many stars on offense, so the OC job is one of the top jobs. I agree. It's what I've been preaching all show long, Bruce. You are not wrong. All in for thinking makes all in for the king makes a lot of good points. Yeah, I mean, it's new to the channel to me, at least, or unless he changed his name. You can have the most expensive car or yacht, and the drive and captain can still crash it. It's true. It's true. Yes, Fonzie be with you, and also with you. Let us, hey, you know what I'm talking about. It was a great episode, okay? Fantastic episode. So would it be, may the beard be with you, and also with you. Let us bubbles up. I love it. I love it. I feel if you turn on your notifications, it will fix it. Yeah, I think that's the problem with a lot of people. They click the bell, which is the notification bell on YouTube, but YouTube notifications are turned off on their phone or all notifications, and that might be why. The whole offense not being able to stay on the field is why the defense ran out of the playoffs. 100% agree with you on that, Adam. 100%. All right, we're up to 985. We're moving. We're 15 shy of 1K. Come on, people. Let's do it. It's 15 people. The same people on here that are smashing Nick are the same people that smashed Andy. Yeah. Look, Andy ran his course by the end of the Reed era. He had to go. I get that. He ran his course. Nick Sirianni has not run his course. Can I ask me that next offseason? Maybe. We'll see. If Hurts tears his ACL, you'll have to talk about quarterback change. Yeah. But why would I think about that? Just open. You want me to be open-minded. Just open-mindedly look at your statement, right? If Hurts tears his ACL, that is putting negative energy into the world. The negative energy you preach, don't put into the world, is what you're doing. Plain and simple. I get it. Hurts fan since days here. I've been a Hurts fan since day one in Alabama. Back when I used to watch college football. I have been. Eggs, milk, and bread are the whitest choice of survival food. Exactly. I want rice. I want potatoes. I want soup. I think I'm going to go buy some stuff to make some soup this weekend. I don't know which soup, but I haven't made soup since the pizza shop closed. So since last winter. Actually, I did make some chicken noodle soup a couple weeks ago when I was sick. I'll make some chili. On a nice day, snowy day, I think I'm thinking of my chicken pot pie or chicken dumpling soup recipe that I make. That's what I'm thinking I'm going to make for Saturday night for Sunday. I like Fairway to Heaven and think it's a top. Hey, appreciate that. We do a good job talking golf on that channel. Appreciate that. OCs have no idea if AJ will be here next year. They see that there is an aging O-line. Does the offensive scheme fit what Hurts can do? OCs saw how KP was treated. Only some of that's true. Okay? On why or why not. Yes, the O-line is aging. Is it, though? It's pretty young outside of Lane Johnson. They're all questions, right? But if you're a confident OC, wouldn't you want to take that on? Maybe the OC candidates see that AJ, Lane, and Goddard might not be here next year, and that might be part of the question. They might be in that interview process with Howie and Nick, the Lories, and be like, what's the situation with A.J. Brown? And they'll say they can't comment on it. And we don't know. Lane, I think they know already whether Lane's playing next year or not. I think Lane will be here next year. I don't think he'll go out like that. I don't know. I have no sources. It's my opinion. But I think the Eagles know that answer already. And Dallas Goedert, what's your plan to replace Dallas Goedert? It's a possibility. Reality, 4 key players paid the price for playing the previous year's Super Bowl. Absolutely agree. Potentially at the expense of their careers. Time will tell. You're spot on with that. Spot on with that. I want the Eagles to hire Jim Bob Cooter away from the Colts just so you have lots of fun with that name. Chet, the amount of childish jokes I've already fetched on this show because of Jim Bob Cooter being part of the OC, absolutely agree. I mean, I've already faced a countless amount of them. That Daboll interview was just a courtesy to satisfy the fan base. He was never coming here. Delco Green, I think that's the case with him. and with Mike McDaniel, right? I'd be shocked if he's not the head coach of the Bills by the end of the day, by the way. At least you're giving people credit for good points. You never give me a credit for a good point. I guess I just never made a great point before. Andy Reid should have had 4 Super Bowls here, definitely. Yeah. He didn't. I thought the energy thing was absurd, your words. Can't have it both ways. What? Whatever happened to him, he is a quarterback coach somewhere, elephant in the room. I'm surprised Eagles fans haven't been pining or pounding the table for him just because of the name value, right? Not because he has no play calling experience. I think he's a quarterback coach on a team. I'm not sure where, though. Sport hurts when they drafted him. It's the first big moment. It was the first step. I mean, the draft was my first ever podcast I recorded. But I put out a tweet when they drafted him. It was the first tweet that ever started growing my Twitter account that then made me be able to do all this, you know? There was no way Andy Reid was going to survive blowing 9-10, the Dream Team, and Juan Castillo. None, 0 zilch. Yes, actually, absolutely agree. Yeah, I make a really good chili. I do. I made a lot of great soups at the pizza shop. So I'm thinking of one that I'd want that'd be good for multiple meals in Snowmageddon. Y'all need to be ready for power outage for sure. That should be the first on your list. It's a great point. It's a fantastic point. I'm not prepared for that at all. Phil, I like to watch the golf channel. No football in the wintertime. Look, the golf is all about it, man. I love it. It's actually, I love doing the golf show. It's a huge passion of mine. Spencer, hit me up. 31 likes. Yeah, we're climbing today. We're having, that's the thing is, if I put the title right, if I make a good thumbnail, channel booms. Were you happy or confused when we drafted Hurts? I was confused. So the way it went, to go back for those that don't know, they're newer to me, I'm a huge Jalen Hurts fan. Have been since his freshman year at Alabama. Loved the it factor that he carried, the swagger he carried, right? So when he got drafted, the tweet that blew up was basically, why did the Eagles draft Jalen Hurts? The guy just wants a chance and an opportunity to start in the NFL, and now he's got to back up Carson Wentz. Because I wasn't believing the Joe Santoliquito, articles that Wentz was a problem. I didn't want Hurts here because I knew he deserved a chance to start and that he could be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And that's what blew up. Because people are like, oh, it was it was a waste of a pick. I'm like, he's a great quarterback. I think it's fair to say our players are not the issue for OCs not coming here. You'd be crazy to take Chargers over us or the Bills or anything but that, or anyone. But people are that speaks volumes to me. Look, I agree. When we talked about Daboll saying if he doesn't want the Bills job, he'll go to the Titans. They're taking the easy way out, but they're also taking the only way to go is up kind of aspect. I think the real thing that's keeping people from coming here, to an extent maybe, is accountability. They know they're going to be held accountable here. It's going to be a tough place. Yes, you're going to get booed and cursed at. Yes, there's a 1% chance your house might get egged. You are going to either get a head coaching job or you might get fired. There's also the chance you get promoted if we fail. Injuries age you faster, and there's been plenty of injuries throughout this O-line. I agree. If there's a player situation that's holding somebody back more than anything, it's the offensive line as a whole. Even if Lane comes back, his health, absolutely agree with you. I read something interesting that I like to throw out there, and we're getting close to the end, but, there's no time frame, whatever. The question is, does Jeff Stoutland have anything to do with it? Jeff Stoutland has now been here through how many coaching changes, and he's still going to be here, right? And he's the run game coordinator as well. Don't you want to pick your own run game coordinator? Don't you want to pick your own O-line coach? Don't you want to pick your own coaches or assistants? I don't know. I thought that was interesting. And he really didn't have a great year as the O-line coach this year. Run up those likes. That's right. Let's do it. I don't know what it is. I don't know who it is. And I finally don't know. I don't care. But this organization needs to get their shit together and get back on track. Because year like this, another year like this by Nick. It's funny. And I get it. And I agree actually with this, right? I actually agree with this statement. But this organization needs to get this shit together, right? We are literally 1 year removed from a Super Bowl. How many other organizations would love to be in the Eagles situation right now, right? And I get it. I'm the same way. I'm with you with that. But man, who else wouldn't want this situation? Cooter counted 3. Now 4. Josh McCown, quarterback coach for the Vikings. Gotcha. He didn't really do that great with the Vikings this year. J.J. McCarthy, while injured a lot, also didn't progress much this year. You know from owning a pizza shop how constant complaints and negative energy at times can be draining. OCs are seeing how it drained this team this year. The thing is, with the pizza shop, you only hear the negativity. You never get the positive comments, the positive reviews. I love the pizza, but I'm not going to go online. So is there any of that? They'll never get the praise, but they'll always get the negativity. When I brought up Hurts getting injured, you screamed bad energy. Yet when I presented to you yesterday about bad energy, you ripped it apart. All right. Well, you present bad energy. You don't practice what you preach is the problem. All right. I never said I preached it. I never preached it. All right. You preach positivity, but you don't follow it up. Oh, I love a good Italian wedding soup. Used to make it. It was my regular go-to because I have two recipes. I have like a detailed Italian wedding soup, but I had a quick form Italian wedding soup for the pizza shop. I made it all the time. Josh is in Minnesota with JJ. Yeah, that's what it is. I knew it was somewhere in the NFC. Constant negativity is bad energy like the Phillies. I just think the Phillies, it's facts. I was confused at the Hurts draft, too, until someone explained it to me. It was a cheap backup. I don't think they drafted him to take over. I really don't. I think they were trying to figure out Carson Wentz and a way to make Carson Wentz work. I have no idea what Greek fisherman stew is, but I'm going to write it down. I'm assuming there's a lot of seafood in that, which is not a problem, but I like the Hurts pick because I thought we were going to use him like Taysom Hill. Yeah, a lot of fans thought that. Cooter used to be a coach here. Sometimes you got to bring back Cooter. Now that we can agree on, right? We've all been there, right? Why are people concerned when Lane tried to rehab a 9 to 12-week rehab process, 7 weeks? He just ran out of time. Because, I mean, the Lane Johnson, in theory to me, when you're an injury-prone, or when you see the end, all right, my career, I'm retiring soon, right? 2 years from now, I'm going to retire. But you face a really tough injury that's tough to rehab. Sometimes it mentally drains you, and you say, you know what, enough's enough. And Lane Johnson has struggled mentally, openly with his mental issues over the years. So maybe he just says enough's enough, I can't do it anymore. That's why. Otherwise, Lane will be back next year. And I fully expect Lane to put the effort in to get back to Lane level. There's a point before the injury, people were saying Lane was playing the best he's ever played at his old age. We do need to draft a couple offensive linemen to get young again. 1,000%. 1,000%. Always gave positive about, I know you did, but not many did. Because not many do for any small business, Adam. Sometimes I wonder if we could get an all-time winning head coach in their first 5 years. Maybe we could think about firing said head coach. Who are you talking about? I got you. I wasn't sold on Carson after he got injured. I actually wanted them to draft Lamar when he was coming out, so I probably was one of the only ones who was happy when they drafted Hurts. See, I was just torn. I was happy because I loved the person, but I was disappointed because I wanted him to go somewhere where he'd have a chance to thrive because I didn't think it was going to be here. Eagles better get it together, especially now that Harbaugh is in division. I'm not scared of Harbaugh. I'm not. You got a coach that's got a GM that he doesn't have to answer to. You got a guy that's calling the shots that he doesn't have to answer to. It is just already a disaster brewing with Harbaugh and the Giants. I think Lane's done after a few games. I mean, you better draft his replacement then. That is all I can say about that. I kind of touched on this yesterday, I think. He's going to be very expensive. Linderbaum. And the Giants are going to want him because of John Harbaugh and that situation, right? But I bring it up. They're going to have to at least consider it, and they're going to have to at least consider a better option than Brett Toth behind Jurgens. You really got to sit down and figure out what went wrong for Cam Jurgens this year. It's a huge conversation point for this season, a huge one. Lane is a beast, but I'm going to be 100 with you. He will go down as an all-time great, but I do not want to Jason Peters ourselves again. That's a fair fear. It absolutely is a fair fear right there, AK. 100%. Linderbaum is big money. He's probably going to the Giants. Agreed, 1,000%. Lane might come back, but for a short time, his issues dictate that. Eagles must address the O-line stars of depth. It is. I did my first mock draft, and I put it out online. I don't remember who I picked because I don't know. And 3 of my first 5 picks were O-linemen. 2 tackles and a guard / a center that has experience playing guard. And I got crushed for it. Oh, what are you doing? Where's the tight end in the first round? Where's the cornerback? They need to draft O-line. I think Howie knows that, and I think Howie will heavily address it. There's a time to get rid of offensive linemen. We well past that with Peters, and we're just approaching it with Lane. I'm being loyal. Like, you don't want Lane to play anywhere else. But it's getting close to that time. If he can get healthy, he'll be fine. But how long he stays healthy. You can see Carson had issues throwing to the left, given the back issues, and the knee strength decreased, causing him pigeon-toed his plant foot. He also got very happy feet after the concussion. Very happy feet after the He had happy feet after the knee injury, but his happy feet, like, went up tenfold, okay? Tenfold after that. A tackle is a brutal job. It is. It really is. You're not wrong on that at all. Wide receiver, we're fine. It only took me an hour and 31 minutes, but we're caught up on comments today, guys. Wide receiver and offensive tackle are going to be a major needs. Absolutely agree. If you're moving on from A.J. Brown, you absolutely need to draft a top-end wide receiver. If you're not moving on from A.J. Brown, you still need to draft the wide receiver because you're going to lose Jahan Dotson. And let's be honest, Darius Cooper, Britton Covey, Johnny Wilson, they're the other wide receivers on your roster right now. That's not good enough. All right? So, yeah, they're major issues. I would put tight end ahead of wide receiver because we literally have none other than E.J. Manuel on our roster right now. Lane is right there with Jackie Slater. A.J. going to be gone. Look, if somebody makes the right offer, A.J. is gone. Howie will not settle, though. See, this is the thing you got to understand. I'm 50-50 on whether A.J. will be here or not because I don't know what other teams – I looked at a list of the last decade of top-tier wide receivers traded, and you've got so many overpays and you've got so many underpays. Howie is not going to accept an underpayment to get rid of A.J. Brown, and that's the thing you got to understand. He's not going to accept Amari Cooper, still semi in his prime, only fetched a 5th and a 6th. He's not going to accept that. Nobody's going to offer you a 1st and a 2nd. Nobody's going to offer you a 1st, period. What's the minimum? I think what you have to ask yourself on the A.J. Brown situation, what's the minimum that Howie Roseman will take to get rid of him? And will a team accept or offer that? And I don't think he'll accept what the minimum is. Unless you're starting with a 2nd-round pick and a player, or just a 1st-round pick, Howie is not accepting that. Eagles have requested to interview Declan Doyle, the Bears offense coordinator. All right, there's another new name. Let me add it to the list. Declan Doyle. All right. Somebody from the Ben Johnson coaching tree. Nothing wrong with that. Think about how many times we thought we were getting the heir apparent to Kelsey. Yeah. They need to break from AJ. I feel this is going to be a never-ending cycle. Oops. God forbid they keep him and he drops a ball. Look, I get it. I've given him shit for all the drops too. I also know it's hard to replace him. That's why you got to get max value. Otherwise, he's staying. God, man, I hate to say it, but if you could just give Carson Wentz's aim to Hurts with his awareness, mental talent. Oh, man. That's a great comment, AK. Combine the best attributes of the both, you got a perfect quarterback. Maybe Carson's size, too. Buffalo going to beat down the door for AJ. Maybe. Okay? It's very possible, Rick. Maybe Brian Daboll doesn't want to come here because he knows AJ's going to Buffalo, so that's where he wants to go, right? Maybe. But what's the minimum? Will Buffalo offer their second-round pick and one of their players? It's going to be a back-end second-round pick, probably around like 58, 60. Is that enough? Do they have somebody to include with it? They're not giving up their first-round pick for him. I like Denzel Boston if we keep it. This goddamn mouse, AJ, a tall, deep threat. Didn't say he was. I said he was lesser, but there's another trade, and I can't remember which one it was, that was a better player that didn't get much value. For some reason, the Amari Cooper one just stuck out in my brain. But if you Google it, I'll try to find the same article, and I'll send it to you if I can find it. Probably can't. You look at the wide range that elite wide receivers get traded for. It better be on the high end or it's not going to happen. A first and a third is a completely nonsense. I agree. I agree. Denzel Boston is A.J. Brown out. In A.J. Brown. Boston in A.J. Brown out. I got you. A.J. Brown and a first-round pick for Max Crosby. I'm not giving up a pick at A.J. Brown for Max Crosby. Would I be okay with the Eagles running it back like the Phillies? Yeah. Because the Eagles running it back has won something. The Phillies haven't won jack shit. In fact, they've regressed every year, not just 1 year. Amazing how much the media puppets the fan base. I agree with that. For sure, his size, as well as Hurts' being 6'5" instead of 6 even. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hurts' intangibles. We can make a gentleman's bet that the Eagles will get a second. I mean, I'm not saying they won't. I'm saying that it's just a straight-up second enough. I'm saying put yourself in Howie Roseman's mind and the way Howie Roseman thinks, okay? I'm not saying what I would take for him. I'm saying what would Howie take? Is a second-round pick late in the second round enough for Howie Roseman to trade A.J. Brown? That's all I'm asking. I'm not saying he won't get it, okay? I'm saying, is it enough, and will a team offer it? I don't know if a team will offer a second. They may at the back end of the second. I'm also saying that I don't know if Howie would accept that as enough. He would push for more. I would unload AJ. He free up a bit, keep Dallas for sure. It doesn't really free up much, but I honestly feel Jalen's height is what makes him miss drag routes a lot because it's hard for a 6-foot guy. I agree. I do think there's limitations to what you can call because of the height. There are no gentlemen in this room. They're definitely not. Definitely not. Sit back and let Howie do his magic. Enjoy the ride. I got too many comments, or otherwise I would end the show right there on that comment right there. Keon Coleman and a pick in the third round from Buffalo for A.J. Brown. I don't think that's enough, John. That's not enough for Howie Roseman to say yes. A late third-round pick and a wide receiver. It's not enough. Hurts is actually 6'1", 6 foot, 6'1", it depends. Depends on where you look. It's 85% the height for sure. 32 likes. We've had a really productive show today. We really have. Hurts is not 6'1", he's 6 foot. Everyone knows it. We're arguing over an inch, guys. Never mind. There's so many dirty jokes I can make on that. Anyway, we're going to start the wrap-up process here. We've gone almost an hour and 40 minutes for sure here. Not bad today, guys. So let's wrap this baby up. We'll be back. I have a feeling we're going to have to pick this conversation up tomorrow as well. We're also going to talk about the two NFC and AFC championship games tomorrow as well, make predictions on that. Probably how do we get. I wasn't going to make the joke. I was not going to make the joke, okay? I'm not making an inch joke, all right? Not doing it. This is a family program here. Not really, but it is. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up. Yes, thank you up. 15 subscribers from 1,000, guys. I will say, Rick, you'll get me to 1,000 subscribers by tomorrow. I will agree with every one of your opinions. Every one of them. Every opinion I'll agree with. We hit that tomorrow. That's what we'll do. Everyone's, what do you do when you hit 1,000? I will agree with Rick 100%. I will tell him he's right 100%. Look, yeah, I'm not arguing over inches here. Anyway, with that being said, let's wrap this baby up. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Not making it. Not doing it. I will make an inch joke tomorrow if I'm at 1,000 subscribers by tomorrow morning, okay? How about that? All right? Yeah, exactly. You don't want me to agree with you. Anyway, let's wrap this baby up. Hour and 40 minutes in. Hit 1,000, shoot confetti. Yeah. That'd be a big mess to clean up. But if I can find a gun that shoots confetti, I might go get one. And I'll make my wife stand in the background, and she'll shoot the confetti all over the screen. It'd make a great video. It probably would. I know you do, Rick. I know you do. Rick, you might not know this. We've never met. Well, you know that part of it. But I actually love the conversation back and forth. You might not agree with it, or believe it, but I do. Anyway, got to wrap it up, guys. Got lots to do. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk tomorrow. This championship games, Sixers game tonight against the Rockets. We'll talk it all, and whatever else happens rumor-wise. Go Birds. Bubbles up.